And we're live. No, we're not live anymore because this was a live workshop, but my tech cracked. So I'm doing this for you again. Welcome to the June topic of Light Up and Lead call about people pleasing. I know this has been a long time due, and so many one-on-one coaching clients are struggling with it. I was there myself. So this is a gift to you today. And the question of how to free yourself from the number one success and fulfillment block, quite frankly, because if we hold back, we're not going to be successful. If we people please, we're not going to put our dreams and desires and our goals to the front and really take action. And this is for you to start creating what you desire and deserve. So welcome with all my heart. I'm Hedi Schäfer. I'm going to come to that in a second. But why are we here? This is the most important thing. So we're here because I strongly, wholeheartedly believe that we're at a turning point right now. There's a big transformation going on in the entire world on all kinds of levels, personal, professional. We see this in countries, wherever we look. And we need people like you to create this world. Very honestly, we need you. And my assumption is that you are holding yourself back from success and fulfillment and also leadership. So if we can lead ourselves, we can then also lead other people. And you don't just harm yourself with that, but you harming your life, your entire universe around you, and the world at large. And you're also harming the creation of a different kind of world. And to be of value to this world, to be of service to this world. And as I said, to my experience in years of coaching, but especially in the last weeks and months, it has been the number one success block because we want to people please, we want to fit in. This is a very, very normal human trait because we have a survival brain, and if we feel like we don't fit in, we feel like we're not safe. So we need to people please. We don't need to people please, we want to fit in. And people pleasing is really a trauma related trait that in this video, in this workshop, I'm going to go deep into. I know it's a lot of stuff, but it will help you. I put always a lot of stuff in there because I want to help you, okay? I want to support you. And it should really be for you to level up yourself, your life, and your business, and in order to create, because a lot of things are unconscious, and we come to that in a second. I believe it's your clock. It is time that you step into your power, and especially because I assume that people pleasers who have this kind of past are very, very sensitive, very, very empathetic, and that's why these traits are more needed than ever. The takeaways today are the 8 success keys to step out of this pattern and into a more self-actualized power version of you. Please take notes. Please also stop the show and take notes. Go back and take notes. And don't just consume it. Then it's for nothing. If there are people who consume things and wish that things will change, and there are people like you who have the willpower and also take the action. So please stop, write down, and take action on them. And we're not going to focus on other people, how to behave in front of other people. We're going to focus on you and your inner strength, because that's where your power comes from. It's all inside of you, and not by sort of managing more of the people around you. Maybe they know, I'm not a people pleaser, but now that I'm a people manager. No, we don't want that at all. We only have one life and one energy bucket, and whatever you use it for, it's used, and use it for yourself and your dreams. Okay. So who am I? Real quick, I'm Hedi Schäfer. I'm a work-life innovation coach. For a while, since 2010, I've been in the innovation industry, where I have been in a beautiful hamster wheel, but I'm based upon outer innovation, design thinking. I was part of the first design thinking generations out there. And I've changed. I've changed a lot because I became a mom and I realized, okay, what we're doing is not really, it's maybe 80%, but it's maybe 20%, but really, why are 80+% people and innovation leaders saying innovation doesn't work? Because the inner transformation, the inner work is often overlooked, and you can only create what you believe to be true. So if I believe that doesn't work, or we have done that XYZ times already and it didn't work, and I'm not going to do that again, well, then the energy is lost and you're not going for it any longer. Like, you're not persisting. And so inner transformation is absolute key. I believe that wholeheartedly, based upon the inside out principle. So change yourself and be that person, be that innovator, or whoever you want to be, that level up, successful, fulfilled person you strive for. And then you create your surrounding. It cannot be the other way around. It won't sustain. And yeah, so as I said, I crashed personally. I was very deeply in the self-sabotaging, generational trauma, self-limitations, believing I was not enough, life is hard, I had to prove myself. And I was surrounded by a lot of toxic and dysfunctional relationships, which drained my power, which drained my energy. And I was a people pleaser. And I changed from this stage to really inner peace, genuine fulfillment, and a coaching brand that brings a lot of value to this world. And I know it's based upon knowing exactly who I am and what I want in life, not being, the ball of anybody else or anybody else's opinion or ideas or drama or conflict. I'm the creator, and that's why things started to shift. I'm going to give you the how today. So the 8 success keys. So buckle up. It's going to be a lot. And some housekeeping rules before we start. So this is for you. Meaning, please switch off everything that wants your energy elsewhere. And this is for you, but not to judge yourself more, but to level up, to enlighten and make positive changes. Yes, this will trigger you. Triggers are good because our subconscious holds a lot of information back. So 95% is subconscious, 95% of our blocks are unconscious. If it triggers you, it comes to the surface. Work with the triggers and you will leap, okay? But nevertheless, you have the choice, of course, take it or leave it. Take 7, take 6, whatever success keys that, takes you to the next level. And always ask how can I adapt this? Don't just say this is not for me and then leave it. Try to really make this yours, and then that's how you take it home. You can ask questions. This is not the live version anymore, so not in the chat, but in the comments below. So first and foremost, for yourself, just write down and then pause this video. What is people pleasing for you? And when you're done, this is my definition, or these are glimpses of definitions. First, it's when you put yourself at the back of the row. So you have people in your surrounding, bosses, spouses, family members, and you let them go first and shine first. This is one trait of people pleasing. You're probably an empath. And as an empath, you sense energy and also expectations as if they were your own. That's a very common trait of people pleasers, that my former version, I'm saying we now, we tend to just feel a lot. And before even somebody communicates anything, like any need or a workload, we say, yes, I can do that. And so people pleasers have the ability to sense a lot, and be very overly active in that sense. Yeah, you attract a lot of energy and people, meaning that want something from you, because you have the sense to, you have the ability to sense before it's communicated, and you attract maybe a lot of energy vampires, narcissists, who drain and take advantage of your kindness. You're maybe the nice guy or the nice girl everyone relates to and everyone wants to work with, because you're just so easy to be around. Like, you don't have any needs and you're not asking for anything. In fact, you're giving a lot. Like, it's not give and take. You are just giving, giving, giving. That's your norm. And you're constantly checking if you've performed or done enough. Like, you're a very hard worker. On the outside, you perform well, but on the inside, you constantly doubt yourself and also have a lot of worries and a lot of fear. Like, am I enough? If I've done enough, will I be rejected if I'm not doing more and more and more? Again, but on the outside, society loves you. You're easy to be with and easy to work with. That's a dilemma. When you put yourself at the back of the row, you put more than that back too, because obviously that has consequences to your needs. For instance, time out or outside support if your workload is just too much. Your dreams and desires go back too. Like, for instance, when you're in a relationship and it's about, okay, choices or decisions. Where do we want to live next? Or where do we want our kids to go to school? Where do we want to invest our money? Or am I staying in a job situation way longer than it's necessary or good for me, and actually hurting me because I believe that people will not be able to cope, right? It's going to be from any kind of decision to like simple decisions, day-to-day decisions. Where are we going to get dinner, or what are we going to do on the weekends? Write down what else pop into your head, what is going at the back of the row because of your people pleasing. Stop the show, and then I'll see you in a second. So let's go on. Giving yourself and life leadership to somebody else and hoping that one day it'll change is a very big mark trait of people pleasing. It is also called anticipatory obedience, and slowly but surely it will be at your expenses, whether it's health, whether it's wealth, whether it's your success, your fulfillment, and you can add what else. Because you're not balanced. You are not balanced. You're not giving and taking. You're not setting boundaries, and you're not sustaining your life force energy, basically. So another question that I would love for you to just stop and write down the answers to: why do you people please? Why do you think you people please? And then I'll see you in a second. So people pleasing is usually, it's a pattern that we've learned in childhood. It's a programming, and by programming, I mean that basically in the age of 0 to 5, we are in a theta state. So our brain is in theta state, which means that we are very susceptible to anything, everything that we observe, but also that we're told and experience. So it becomes it becomes our identity, and it stays in the subconscious, which means that we don't necessarily realize what we're doing. It's just normal to us. And most people or people pleasers, they also create an environment where there are other people pleasers or just drainers, like the opposite. We can learn a lot from these drainers, like energy vampires, narcissists, because they just test our boundaries until we heal why we do that, and we say no. That's just the game. And these patterns, they run us, they run our relationships, our lives, until we really pinpoint it, identify it, and heal it and say, no, thank you. I'm not worthy of that any longer. Most people pleasers start off as, therefore, parent pleasers. So it doesn't come from, anywhere that we're just people pleasers. It comes from parent pleasers, and there are diverse reasons. Take it or leave it, right? Maybe you were praised for always being kind and helpful as a child, and you therefore became a parent pleaser, and hence this trait, this pattern just moved on, and now you're doing that because it's part of your identity. Or you were being punished or gaslit when you were not compliant. Maybe you've learned that you'll only be loved if you conform and you don't cause problems. Like you're the easy child. Maybe you had siblings who were, difficult, and therefore you were holding yourself back because you didn't want to cause more problems. Or perhaps you grew up in an environment that avoided conflict altogether and disagreement, and you always learn to maintain this harmony. Like I have a lot of clients who are these energy balances. Like they come into environments and they're just balance. You feel like they're balancing out energy, like they bring everyone together, and they invite everyone, and they create this atmosphere so people can, very, very dysfunctional people can actually be together in a hard way, like in a harmonious way, but it's on their expenses. You maybe grew up with adults who were unstable, dysfunctional, again, maybe also people pleasers, and on the other part of the spectrum, the narcissists. What else you think is a pattern that you learned? Stop the show and then come back when you're ready. To move on, it's often people pleasing comes from a fear of being rejected, abandoned just for being yourself and having normal emotions and needs, especially as a child. A fear of not fitting in anymore. This is our survivor brain who says, I need stable connection to feel safe. Back in the days when we were in caves, it was very scary to not have your tribe and to have food, therefore, and to be protected. So the need to feel safe is very obvious, but it's a learned pattern for outside validation that I'm enough, that I'm okay being here, being safe, and getting love, getting attention. The possible effects, though, take it or leave it. This is crass, but this is due to research, tons of research. I just pick out the things that I relate to, that I've experienced myself and in other clients. So first and foremost, if we people please, the life and the potential that is within can't be unfolded because you're always holding yourself back out of fear. It can go as far as being completely burned out because you're always giving away responsibility for your own well-being and maybe living the lives and the ideas of others. There's no time and no space for recharge. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of feelings that you're not dealing with, guilt and shame, and you're in survival mode. So your nervous system is overloaded. Cortisol is very high. You're being around, and you know that when being around people is draining for you, and it's only better when it's quiet, when it's nighttime. That's when you know that something is unbalanced in your day-to-day life. It doesn't have to be that way, that we recharge at night. It can also be that we recharge when we're around people. It is possible. I didn't think it was possible, but it's true. And you can also go into depressive states, like total disconnection from yourself. So life becomes kind of like a rat race based on something really that was created in the past, and it's actually not your life anymore, right? It doesn't serve you now. And that is a huge drama, like a huge dilemma, because this is my assumption. You're a very highly sensitive person. You have high potential. Like there's a lot of creativity, probably a lot of visionary potential within you, because people who people please often go also in a sense of into an isolation state and create their own reality. And you have skills that the world needs. So your high sensitivity and your empathy is something the world needs more than ever. You have dreams and desires that come from a very genuine and kind-hearted, maybe playful place. And if those put into action in reality, the world would be positively, positively, positively influenced. Don't you agree? But you're not moving as fast as you could, or you're moving not at all because of a really outdated, harmful programming and based on something that was, that is not serving you anymore. So please put your hands over your heart and ask yourself, do I want to move out of that? If it's a yes, comment a yes below. And then let's change the drama from this outside leadership, drainy, 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 to a love story of self-leadership, shall we? If you don't know me, I use a framework. It's called the 3C Innovation Canon, which is based on 3 principles. And that is clarity, cleansing, and creation, in order to really step out of hamster wheel life into the creator mode. First and foremost, what we need, what is the base, is the clarity of who you really are, what your traits are, what your gifts are, and what your visions are. Because without them, you have no focus, no motivation. And again, you're like a snowball to other people's ideas and opinions very easily. You need a strong sense of self in order to be rooted, in order to not feel the chaos around you anymore, and move ahead into self-leadership and confidence. You gain so much confidence. The first thing is how you get there. Now we're going to go into the how, is to connect or reconnect to yourself. So a little story. When I was 35 and I just got a baby. And up to that moment, I was a high performer. So I went around the globe and taught people, trained people in innovation and innovation principles. It was a lot of fun. My outside reality looked super great, but my inside wasn't. I was always running from one thing to the next, not to feel myself, which I didn't realize. It was my program. And then I had my baby and everything went still. Now, first and foremost, I didn't know what I was doing because I was a first-time mom. I had no clue how to keep my baby alive. And what bothered me the most, and what was the most painful insight, that I didn't know myself. I had no clue who I was. I knew something had to change because I couldn't just, run anymore. I had a baby. I was a mom. I had responsibilities, but I didn't have the ability to have a self-responsible relationship with myself. So where I want to head with this is, it's either connecting to yourself for the first time, which it was for myself, or reconnecting to yourself if you lost your path. Both possible. Because by pleasing others, you are kind of disconnecting over and over again, right? You're not attending to your own needs and to yourself and your dreams. And my experience is that a lot of people pleasers have a very weak sense of self. So ask yourself over and over again and seek the answers, best with help. Who am I? And the 3 main pillars to this clarity are purpose, values, and visions. I'll come to that in a second in a bit more detail. And by doing that, like reconnecting to yourself or connecting to yourself for the first time, you are seeing things that you don't like, a lot of shadows, but you're accepting and by healing, falling in love with yourself, which is, to me, the biggest journey of your life. Because when you do that, you also create a different kind of relationship to the world and to the people around you. And you will not need anybody else's approval anymore and validation anymore. And you can't become manipulated anymore. You're going from victim to creator mode. And that is pure strength. That's the second success key. You become able to create boundaries with people, to people, projects, places, and you become able to invest your energy in things that bring you well-being, success, and the fulfillment you desire and deserve. You say no. No is a full sentence. In terms of boundaries, obviously this is give and take, right? But for you, check like how much you're giving and how much you're taking. And most people pleasers I know, they say, or they behave like, I don't smash your boundaries, but hey, I invite you to smash my boundaries. But this is not give and take, and this is not boundary setting and self-love. So boundaries are a very high form of self-love. You also say, and you protect your boundaries by saying, you don't smash my boundaries. And I take responsibility for it. Like I say no. I don't expect you to know that I'm saying no. I also don't take your problems on my shoulders anymore. And I don't expect you to take my problems on your shoulders. Mostly with people pleasers, they take a lot of responsibilities and problems on their shoulders, but don't take a part of me, because they're very self-reliant. They don't know anything else, right? So the boundaries then become your enabler. For what? For your purpose, your values, and your visions. Hang on, is my purpose? My purpose is the reason for being. What is my special sauce? What is my driver? Why do I get up every single morning? It's not making money. That's the outcome. But what do I bring to the table? What pain have I overcome that I now give to the world? Love and light. What kind of passion do I have? What kind of special trait that only other people see in me that you need to reflect upon do I bring to the table? So purpose work is, to me, the biggest jump into truth, in your own truth. Add on values. How do I want to live my life? What gives me energy? And this is the sweet package as a base for decision making. If I know my values, if I know it's, for instance, freedom, then I will not engage in problems and projects, in projects anymore that cut my freedom. I will not have relationships that cut my freedom. Same with love. Is this a give and take exchange of love? Do I feel loved, and can I freely give love? So this becomes really your base for choices and creating the life that you desire and deserve. And visions. I know this is a very blurry concept, can be, but it's really not. If you're going into the nitty-gritty visions of who you want to be as a person, every single day person, who do I want to be in my partnership? Who do I want to be in my friendships? Who do I want to be in my career and business relationships? Who do I want to work for? And what is my unique work lifestyle I want to live? Is it a home office based, or is it traveling the world? What is it? Really nitty gritty, taking every puzzle piece out of the context, not one big vision. I mean, who can create one big vision? No, you need to create little nitty gritty visions. That's how I did it, how my clients do it, so they can really focus and take one thing at a time. So it's not overwhelming, because if it's overwhelming, you're giving up too fast, right? So that's, yeah. And to save the date, on June 22nd, the Star in Me Mastermind next round starts. Only 20 spots to really get you into the purpose work value, work, and vision. So you have your plan, you have your compass that moves you ahead. DM me if you want one. If there is one more, okay? What is important in this work is to realize what we're protecting also. When we're talking about boundaries, oftentimes they're so weak because we don't even see the value of what we have. So this kind of work is extremely, extremely important to understand what we're protecting, and then it's way easier to protect it in terms of boundaries. Principle number 3, or success key number 3, the choices. You know what you want and what you don't want, and you can say yes or no. And if you need to buy yourself time, not now. I have to think about it. You know what drains my energy, and you know what gives you energy, and hence where to say no thank you and where to say yes. And it gives you so much focus and speed. It's about time, right? We can take 20 years to create the life that we desire and deserve, or wait until retirement. But isn't that already very late if time is really valuable and our lives happening right now? This work, this inner work, gives you ease and flow to be in love with life, your life. You create standards for your life because we know we get what we tolerate, and you can then teach others how to treat you. You're standing up tall as a human being in self-leadership empowerment. Number 4 is accepting help. Now, why is this so important? It's actually a no-brainer, but when I created this PowerPoint, Death by PowerPoint, I hope not, it should be like a movie for you, I hope you enjoy it. It said number 4, accept, EXCEPT, help. And this is, I thought, wow, this is so true, because as a people pleaser, you're so used to being the helper, right? You are experiencing this ongoing unbalanced give and take, and you're like, okay, accept help, no help, I'll figure this out on my own. Because self-reliance is all you've ever known. Maybe you couldn't trust the people around you because they screwed you over again. And help was for me one of the, and proximity, like being close to people who have experienced where I wanted to go. Like they already had the solutions, they already went through the whole mess and could give me a plan or help me to create my plan so I could go through this faster, and having somebody at my side that I could trust, that was there for you, that had an answer when I was in doubt and wanted to give up. So help, accepting help with an A, is a superpower. So please change your perspective from I don't need to shoulder everything from my own to yes, I can accept help, and that will speed up the process. Okay, now this was the first part. Congratulations. What are your takeaways? Pause the video and write them down. Okay, good. Now I'm just going to give you some kickstarters at what you can do to take action, right? It's not about consumption. Consumption does not get you anywhere. It is about applying. First, look at yourself. Create self-awareness. Ask yourself, who am I? Create your purpose, your values, and your visions. If you want my help, please just contact me. You know where I am. You can also look at your relationships because they are perfect mirrors to where we're at. So the relationships we're currently in is just a reflection of the parts in us that we can't see, because the subconscious, again, is 95%. It is so ingrained in us, and we see only when we have kind of a mirror, and we're also looking at the results. If we're getting the results over and over again, the same results that don't satisfy us, we can ask, okay, what habits, what beliefs got me here? It is truly the best mirror to see with open eyes, where can I grow and heal, and honestly ask these questions to yourself. If you're looking at your relationship, please don't fall into the trap of trying to fix another person, because people won't heal for other people. They won't change for other people. They only change for themselves. And that's great, because you're also the same, hopefully, right? Hopefully, as a people pleaser. Yeah. Heal yourself, and people around you will pick up. The quality of your relationships equal the quality of your life. So be very, very mindful of who you spend your time with, your energy. Who do you give your time and energy to? And the way people treat you is not about you. It's just a statement about who they are as a human being. It's never about you. Don't ever take things personally when you are now in the process of looking at that. These are just tips and tricks when you are going into that work on your own, looking at your relationships as a mirror. Where am I at? Don't take things personally, but just grow out of it. You can also ask these questions. Who am I when I'm with a particular person? Am I really fulfilled? Am I feeling empowered? If not, change your beliefs about yourself. Like, do you think that you're worthy of more? And take action, boundaries accordingly. And also create visions. We had that already in the relationship vision section. Ask yourself and find the answer. How does a healthy relationship feel like? And do you feel like that right now? If not, change. To kickstart, on top of that, create boundaries, make new choices of who you spend your time with and where you want to focus your energy on in order to create the life that you desire and deserve, and accept help from peers and pros. Okay? Makes sense? Comment below. Now we're getting to part 2 of this session. Part 2 is cleansing all the stuff that really no longer serve you. You are this huge energetic bucket, or let's say like a computer that was programmed in the past. Now, as you realize, okay, I really want a fulfilled life that looks like traveling, being with people that are so high vibe, that are successful already, that are not draining my energy because they're complaining all the time. I want a safe environment where I can be myself and say things, and not having such a drainy day because I'm masked all day long, like in my job and in my personal life. And now I need to let go of these harmful program to be free, to be at peace, to be safe being me in this world. I hope this makes sense. If yes, comment below. So the next key, the next success key, is to reprogram your subconscious. So what is the subconscious? The subconscious is the 95% of your brain activity that creates 95% of the majority of your decisions, the actions you take, the emotions you feel, and the behaviors you have. Really, they are dependent on, I say this over and over again, 95%. And that is beyond our conscious awareness. Isn't that crazy? Why don't we know this? I don't know. When I dug deep in it, I was like, what? I went to, and there's nothing against therapy, but like I went to therapists like years, and all we worked with was the conscious, the 5%, like how much potential is underneath that. So really work with your subconscious to get faster results and to get to the core. You need to get to the core in order to transmute it. Because if we believe that we're not worthy of the success, we will never create the success. If we see people around us not being successful and struggling, we want to feel safe and fit in, we're not going to, because our needs to fit in, our fear to be expelled, is so much greater than the ability to move forward. It is the act of exchanging this limitation and these dysfunctional beliefs about yourself, but also about others. It's just a mirror. And then if you've done that, you naturally create healthy habits and patterns. It's not the other way around. Like, for instance, you believe, you have embodied the belief that I'm worthy, that I am enough, that I am a lovable person. You know what also changes your diet in terms of healthy habits, because you're feeling so worthy that you're not, I'm not going to eat junk. Like, it just happens. Like, it happened to me. I'm not going to eat sugar shit anymore because it's not healthy for me. And I honor myself. I honor my body. I honor my brain activity. So therefore, I'm not going to. Thank you very much. I'm not going to go crazy shopping anymore because of this rush of dopamine. I'm not, because I feel more worthy than just the short-term, soothing feeling. It's long-term. I am here for long-term feeling great, happiness. And that needs a lot of self-awareness and a lot of, unfortunately, honesty. There's a very famous and lovely quote, and I forgot to mention his name, so I'm going to do that right now. And it's a quote by Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're always right. Whether you think you can do this or not, you are always right, because you will prove yourself to be right. And therefore, we need tons of very, very good and functional beliefs, right? How you do that? You identify it. You identify your dysfunctional pattern and belief that led you to this pattern. For instance, am I worthy of the success? Am I worthy of the love of other people? Am I worthy of a job that actually fulfills me and brings me brings me not just gives me a job, but also, gives me meat to my soul? If there's a no, make it a yes. Am I allowed to shine? If it's a no, make it a yes. Am I safe to shine? If it's a no, make it a yes. Reprogram your subconscious. Now, there is always a question of how long does it take if you use affirmations? It can be possible that 3 weeks, and you're really having embodied that, plus the body work that comes with it. Meaning, when you're telling yourself into your face, into your mirror every single day, I am enough, guess what comes up? Tears, oftentimes. And that's a cell reaction. Like, the cells are literally like, whoa, they're taking out all the junk that does not align with the new identity that you're telling yourself to be. So plus that body work, and it's different lengths depending on how deep it is. We can also jump in one session, no joke, when we are able in hypnosis to get to that belief. It really, really depends what kind of tools you're using and how deep you're going. And then you're replacing them with positive ones, and that gives you different results. Watch it. Number 6, you hack your nervous system. Your nervous system is your body's entire command center, like the whole thing. It's not just your brain, it's also your spinal cord and your nerves. And they communicate by sending messages, like electrical signals, between, brain and all the other parts of your body. Now, why is the nervous system relevant? The nervous system is very relevant because we want it to be calm and we want it to be balanced in order to be able to create. We don't want to be in any kind of stress response where we have a threat and then it's just like our body taking over, or like our reaction taking over. We want to be the masters of our own system and therefore our reaction to nasty comments or just to the world in general. Now, as people pleasers, we're often in this fawn state, as you see, like lack of identity, lack of boundaries, often in this overwhelming codependency pattern. But it also can be that you're in more than that. Like I was very much in this flight mode, like always running, 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 based upon anxiety, panic. I couldn't really sit still. I was overthinking. I was a workaholic. Now I work like 4 hours a day, and before that I needed to work like 10 to 12 to feel really like I did something, I was of value to the world. Could also be that you're in this freeze mode, brain foggy, dissociation, indecision, isolated, or you're easily angry, like you're very controlling, you're explosive. So these are patterns, these are stress responses that are actually really useful, that used to be very useful back in the days when we were living in caves. And for instance, we needed to get food and we went outside and there was a huge bear, and our nervous system realized what to told us what to do, told our nervous system what to do: run or freeze, for instance, in order to survive. So these are survival mechanisms, but today we don't need them anymore. Am I right? So you break the cycle from these stress, like this threat to survival. And this is the process. Like you have stress, you have a trigger, information coming in. It's time to people please to survive, let's say. And then your brain goes into this old pattern, what it learned, what it is wired for, and it produces hormones like adrenaline, cortisol. Your heart rate increases. You maybe have tunnel vision, maybe shaking, flushed face, dry mouth, hearing loss, slow digestions can all be of relevance, or all can be the outcome of that. And in order to change, we need to change when it actually occurs, so it doesn't occur anymore. I know it sounds like Alice in Wonderland or like Wonder Woman, but when we learn, or not when we learn, but when our nervous system learns that there is no such thing as the threat of people pleasing, like people pleasing or the need to people please is not relevant anymore. It changes our state, and all the other things that come after that are not relevant anymore. They are not triggered. And again, why do we need to be calm? Can you guess? Because when we're in a calm state, human beings are state-dependent beings. This is by Bruce D. Perry, state-dependent functioning. If we are in a certain state, we function in a certain state. If we are calm, we are reflective, we are creative, and we can think abstract. We are the masters of our emotions and our thoughts and of our words and how we create. We are the creator. Our functional IQ is high. But when we go into the other states, for instance, alert, alarm, fear, or even terror, we are in these stress responses and we cannot. We are not in our full potential. We avoid, we comply, we dissociate, we are very emotional, we are reactive, we're holding on to our routine, and our IQ drops. So this is why it is so important to create a calm state. And that state will then be another enabler for your boundary setting, because you're not triggered by another person's mean behavior, for instance. Creating choices no matter what, being very calm, knowing what you want and just moving ahead, not being blocked, keeping your standards. You're also opting out of game playing. A lot of people pleasers who are, attracted to narcissists, who are attracted to people that are, just playing around games and testing your boundaries. You're like, I'm out. It's boring. Your drama, your conflicts, just boring. You just move ahead and create. So by hacking your nervous system, what I mean by that, you're teaching your body to be safe in whatever situation in this world, whatever chaos is outside. You can do that through breath work, through yoga, through stillness, for instance, going into the woods, and by releasing old energies in your body and by maintaining this energetic body. I do trauma work that goes back to sometimes 10, 12 generations, because we have these energetic imprints in our bodies for such a long time, and it's just like glue that wants to be released. It wants to be released. So write down what you want to do in order to release and to make your body, help your body to feel safe now. Good, you're almost done. Really almost. Number 7 is breaking the patterns, this proactive obedience. Why? Because it's totally energy draining and it doesn't serve you at all. We've learned that. And this, feeling the energy and sensing the expectations and then jumping right in, like for instance, okay, your boss says, I need to do this phone call, but I have so much workload, and I'm doing the phone call, or like any kind of tasks. It's the problem of other people. It's not your problem. This is what a people pleaser needs to learn, that it is not my business. It is not my business unless it is really on your table, like the ball is really thrown at you, and then you can still make a choice whether to catch it or to drop it. And maybe also pass the ball back. This is really the game of understanding that this proactive obedience is not getting you anywhere, but also not the people around you anywhere, because they do not learn how to treat you and your time and your worth. Okay. And the way you can do that is, for instance, with a timeout tune in. It's like you're kind of Mr. or Mrs. Blank. Like from the outside, you look kind of blank. You get a task or you sense this energy and you're like, I'm tuning in. Now it's my time. And you're taking 3 deep breaths in and out, no reaction whatsoever to the outside world. They're like, why isn't she getting it? You're just blank. You're getting just, because it's your time. You observe, is this mine or not? Is this really my problem or not? And then you either drop it or you pass it, and you tell yourself, I'm safe. Really tell yourself in your mind's eye, you don't have to say it out loud, I am safe. And if you can't give an answer or a straight no, then say, I'll think about it. No apologies, no explanations needed. Slowly but surely, and this is number 8, you feel like the new you. The new you is arising through all of these keys. You're becoming who you want to be. Everything you believe, feel about yourself becomes true, and you then act it out in a very functional way. Not dysfunctional way, but functional way. And that's an identity shift. Holy cow. So to wrap up, I advise you to do a kickstart in telling yourself that you're enough, using techniques you love, breath work, for instance, and do the time out, tune in whenever there comes something, on your table that you don't want. And then you shift slowly but surely from survival into thrival, from being lived from the outside world to leading yourself and waiting to creating, like you're jumping. You're not holding back any longer, which is so relevant these days. So here again are the 8 keys: reconnecting to self, boundary setting, creating healthy choices, accepting help, reprogramming the subconscious to feel safe, hacking the nervous system to become invincible, breaking the patterns and becoming the new versions of you, peaceful, fulfilled, and the creator of life. Which one is your favorite? Comment below. And you're moving from giving your power away constantly to using it, using your gifts, using your empathy for something meaningful. You're not giving people permission to walk all over you anymore. You're claiming your space. And when you're claiming your space and leaning into it, you're leaning into success. You're not into failure. Success, moving forward. You're not playing small anymore for other people's comfort. You're leveling up in all areas of your life. You are moving away from this victim mentality and mode into being the change you wish to see in this world, into flow and ease and peace and power. And when you're 133, you'll look back and like, yeah, Proudly. That's me. If you're up to for support and the fast track that took me years to figure out, this is the mastermind that gets you there. It's only 20 seats to step into the clarity of your purpose, your values, and your visions. Nitty gritty, nitty gritty, nitty gritty. It's 6 modules that give you all the meat condensed so you can ask yourself and find clarity about the most important questions around purpose, values, and vision. So you have a plan. You really have a compass for your direction and for your thriving states, which I believe and everyone should have. 22nd of June, 6 modules, and then 6 action sessions where we only focus on what is the next step, what do we do. And so it's not just consuming and doing for yourself, but then also taking the next step into action and reality. To get there, book it right away if there's still space, or DM me. You know where to get me. And there's another thing coming up where I only have a wait list right now. It's also a mastermind based on the Powerhouse Activation Formula, where you step into your maximum success brain and fulfillment power by reprogramming your subconscious and hacking your nervous system. So you're creating well-being habits. Waitlist is here at HeidiSchaefer.com. And for all of the content, I also have VIP coaching spots, very limited, very, very limited. They're starting from 3 months to 12 months. And they are gone already, but you can have your spots, you claim your spots also directly under this email address. Okay. Thank you so much for your time and for your brain power, for your heart power you put in to stepping out of this old life into a new, more easy, more fun, more successful, and fulfilled life, and creating the life you desire and deserve. Thank you so much for being here, and see you soon. Bye-bye.